So what is homesteading? Well, homesteading to me is basically doing stuff for yourself, being able to do real things with your hands. It doesn't matter if you live in an apartment or if you live in a 100-acre property. You just got to learn how to do things. And the people that say homesteading has to be off the grid and doing all this, you know what? Sometimes it's not practical for a lot of different reasons for a lot of people. And to say that this is right and this is wrong, it's what you can do and what you can do in your budget, and just have fun doing it. You don't need to have tons and tons of money or have tons and tons of property to suddenly be, okay, I am a homesteader. So here, I never really did tell you about the homestead. In 1953, my grandfather bought the place. He worked in a town called Rockcliffe Park, which at the time it was a town. Now it kind of got amalgamated into the city of Ottawa. And he really wanted to raise his family out in the country. So he found this piece of property. But the problem is that he never drove in his life. So when he moved everyone out here, he still worked in Rockcliffe Park. So on Monday morning, he would bike into town and work there all week and then bike back for the weekend. That is just what people did back then. He didn't have high education. He definitely didn't have any money because my family was pretty poor at that time. I always joked around, it took a little while for them to come out of the Depression. You know, like it was 1953, but they lived pretty poor and pretty simple. So he raised his family out here with a big garden and a bigger piece of property, and he had cows and he had horses and stuff like that. And he still continued to bike into town every week and do it. That is a hard-working person, I have to say. That is what you had to do back then, and he did it. After a while, Dad bought the property and he raised us here. So I have fond memories of this place. My dad having the big garden. I remember running around with pellet guns, rabbit and squirrel hunting, and all kinds of mischief you can get into around here. But I have fond memories of that here. My family moved here, it was a little later, you know. My kids were a little older, so they didn't get the full experience of the place. But they definitely seem to love it here. So what is homesteading? It can be as simple as gardening at the community garden. Going to get wild edibles. But just know how to do things. There is an epidemic in North America of people that don't know how to do anything. And it is sad and scary all in one. When I grew up, my dad had pigs. I remember the pigs getting out. Those things are hard to keep penned up, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I'll never get pigs, I think, because no matter how well you pen them up, they will get out, like pretty much for sure. So, and chasing pigs around the country is not my kind of having fun. So since I've moved here, the garden hasn't been the greatest. I got to work on that a bit. But I've been trying to clear a pasture so I can have some sheep. The bee thing, I started beekeeping, and in 3 years I'm up to 50 hives. It's going. I'll have to see what the spring holds after seeing how many die this winter, but I'm hoping it's in a good direction anyways. I've got chickens. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to do some of that or any of that. Homesteading is just doing more yourself. So I got to keep cutting some wood, so let's go.